In this session, we will discuss about what is the need of safety for handling the chemical as well as preserving the barrels, that is empty barrels. That we will see now. Uh, Importance of safety in chemical handling, because the chemicals, most of the chemicals are hazardous in nature. So we need to do carefully all operations, the handling of chemicals, that is transferring of chemicals from one container to another container. In manufacturing industry, normally the transferring of chemical having the more risk than the operations, because these chemicals are most of the chemicals are in flammable in nature, and also that transferring stage, that is transferring operation, many hazards are involved in this operation. So we need to take precautions, safety precautions, as well as prevent the incident and accident, and environment also need to be protected because of chemical vapor contamination. So these things we need to do carefully. Proper safety measures we need to take in order to avoid the injuries and environment pollution and accidents and all. So the apart from that, legal compliance, we need to obey the government rules. That is, PESO rules is involved in the solvents, that is petroleum products, and also that pollution control board involving the waste disposal. So these two regulations we need to follow during the chemical operation. Whatever the waste is generated, that has to be disposed as per the government norms. So we need to pay more attention in safety. Ultimately, why we are prioritizing safety means handling chemical enhance the public trust. That is, we are safely doing the operation. Then only that publics will put faith on us. This company is doing very safe operation. So there is no harm for staying beside of this company. So we need to gain the public interest. So we need to do our operation without affecting environment and local publics, as well as without any incident, and small incident also we need to avoid by following safety precautions and procedures. Then in this presentation we will discuss about what is the risk involving while chemical handling, and what are all the measures we need to take to prevent the accident and injuries, and how to comply the local legal compliance, and how to develop the safety culture in the among the workers, and ultimately enhance the public trust on us. This is our ultimate aim for this program. First, we will discuss about how many types of barrels. Majorly, I am talking about majorly how many types of barrels in regular day-to-day operation. Then how we are going to select the barrels. First, barrels are different MOC, depends on the requirement. That is, first MS barrel is widely used in the chemical storage, and GI barrels. Apart from that, HDP barrels also we are using in day-to-day chemical storage. So how we need to select the barrels? This is barrel selection is mainly on the compatibility of that chemical with the container. So based on the compatibility only, we need to select the appropriate barrel. Then only the chemical will be safe, as well as the barrel also, it will contain the chemical properly without giving any harmful to the others. So in this case, we need to study, before selecting the barrels, we need to study the MOC. This MOC of container is suitable for this chemical or not. How we can understand this? From this chemical compatibility chart, we can understand this chemical is suitable for this solvent or any chemical. We can understand through the compatibility chart. This compatibility chart is given in this. Okay, I will show you the compatibility chart later. Then, before going to discuss about the chemicals as well as container, we need to understand what is petroleum rules and how the chemicals are classified under the petroleum rules. That we have to understand first. In the petroleum chemicals. That is petroleum chemicals means hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon or mixture of hydrocarbon whose flash point below 23 degrees centigrade is classified as a class A petroleum product. If the hydrocarbon or mixture of hydrocarbon having the flash point between above the 23 and below the 65 degrees centigrade, it falls under class B petroleum product. Once the flash point of the hydrocarbon or mixture of hydrocarbon falls in between 65 to 93 degrees centigrade is called as a class C product. As per the petroleum rules, they are clearly defined as the what is the container it should be filled. That petroleum classified material, that is class A, class B, class C material, has to be filled in which type of container, what is the specification of container. These and all given clearly in the rules 4. So I will show the rules. You can see, easily understand that. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You see the approval of container. Any container, it has to be that rule number 4. It is clearly explained that any container, it has to be approved by the petroleum inspectorate, that is chief controller. That container specification and all, they are clearly given in this rules itself. Above you see, above you see that is container capacity, how much quantity of chemicals we need to fill. Like that, the specification thickness of the container is given in the right side. Right side, it is given in this. That is in the chemical not exceeding 10 liters. Below 10 liters, we need to have the container of thickness. The container made up of the sheet. That the sheet thickness is 0.443 mm. If the chemical quantity is exceeding 10 but not exceeding 25, below 25 liters we are storing means the thickness of the container is 0.63 should be. Like that, 25 liters to 50 liters, the container sheet thickness should be 0.8. If the exceeding 50 liters, not exceeding 200 liters, the container thickness, that is 1.25 mm it should be. So we need to very specific in that we need to have the container of such a type with the such a quality. It has to be get certified by the petroleum inspectorate. So these specifications we need to follow. Another that apart from that, one more thing we need to understand that how much quantity of chemical has to be filled in the container. That is the most important thing. We need to give, as per the petroleum rules, we need to give some free space above the chemical surface. For that surface, why we are giving this free space means these chemicals form a flammable mixture. It has the tendency to form a vapor. So vapor increases means we need to give some space for accommodating vapor inside the barrel. For that only we are giving the free space. As per these rules, petroleum class A chemicals and class B chemicals, if you are filling in the barrel means we need to leave the free space. 5% of free space should be given in the barrel. Rest of the quantity only you can able to fill. That petroleum class C material, that is chemical, we can give the free space, that is 3% free space is enough for the petroleum class C products. This is clearly given in the rules. If we are deviating these rules, we cannot give we are not giving the free space means that barrel is pressurized and it will explode. For that reason only, they are giving clear instruction, because if you are filling the barrel, that barrel is we are transporting through the vehicle. During the transit also, some pressurize may be happen inside because of shaking and container inside the truck. It can, because of that pressure will be increased. So that we need to, in order to avoid this pressurize during the transit and all, they are given clear guideline, that is this much of free space we need to leave. Even original container we are receiving the chemical, they are considering this free space. If you are going to refill this chemical into another container, you need to take care of these rules and guidelines. You see this slide. in this chemical transfer, first how the container should be selected, what is the thickness of the container, that and all we saw previous slide. Now we are going to see that how to transfer the chemical from one container to another container. That receiving container, original container is having the original container, the barrel we are having means we need to transfer this chemical to another container, means selection of the container, another container. That is, in normally industries, we are going to transfer the chemical from the main container to another sub container. Because of their usage, they are going to split the chemical in various quantities. For that, selection of that secondary container, that is a small container, we need to select the same as MOC, that is material of construction, same MOC as the original container. If you are receiving the chemical in MS barrel, you need to split the chemical into smaller quantities. You need to select same MOC, that is MS barrel, means if you are going to split the chemical in MS barrel only. Most of the industries, what they are doing means that chemical transferring process, they are transferring this chemical, that originally chemical comes in MS barrel, but they are transferring for their convenience to the HDP barrels or plastic barrels. So if you are selecting wrong MOC, it will lead to many of the hazards. That one hazard is mainly static charge. Most of our petroleum solvents exhibit static charge. This static charge is nothing but temporary charge which is generated due to friction. That is stationary phase and mobile phase. The charge will develop. This charge, while jumping, it will create indirect heat source to catch fire. So we need to have more conscious for selecting the barrels, that is secondary container. Original barrel comes in MS means we need to split up or transfer the chemical in MS barrel only, not change the MOC of the secondary container. Then another most important is, even though you are selecting same MOC, while transferring the chemicals, that static charge will develop. So in order to avoid the static charge risk, that is static charge is nothing but temporary charge which create heat source. If already we are transferring the chemical during the operation, that vapor cloud which is present in the atmosphere. So it is easily and readily to catch fire if the fire sources exist. To avoid this fire source, that avoid fire, we need to eliminate the static charge by giving proper earthing and bonding. How to give proper earthing and bonding, that we will see. That in this picture itself, we can clearly understand that the barrel is given earthing. From the earth pit, one clamp is given to the barrel, that one barrel to another barrel, then also that earthing is given. These three are given in series loop, so we can easily eliminate the static charge which is arises due to this chemical transfer. We can easily eliminate. One more thing, even though we are giving the earthing and all, we need to give proper attention to the earth pits, how the earth pits are connected, and the earth pits connections are properly or firmly it is connected or not. And also earth pit should be checked properly once in 6 months. It is performing well or not. What is the resistivity of earth pit? We need to check. And if it is found below 1 ohms, it is safe. If it is above 1 ohms, means we need to do the maintenance work to bring down the resistivity below 1 ohms. That below 1 ohms is the reading is correct reading. If the resistivity is more than 1 ohms, we need to do maintenance work to bring the resistivity value below 1 ohms. That is, our periodically we need to maintain the earth pit properly. Then only we can eliminate this hazard, the static charge hazard. And also we need to have proper inspection of earth pit and proper inspection and periodical inspection of earthing clamps and earthing cables we need to establish. Then the chemical transferring. While doing the chemical transferring, splash filling should be avoided. Splash filling should be avoided. In this photo, we can see that first photo, the splash filling from top, the chemical is splashing. While splashing the chemicals, enormous vapors will develop. These vapors is harmful to human body and also form a easily form a flammable mixture, and enormous amount of static charge also will generate. So in order to avoid this, we need to have the transferring hose like this and extended up to the bottom of the receiving container. This is the safe practice. We can do this in this picture. How the first person is without having proper personal protective equipment is doing the operation. In second picture, the person who is doing this operation is worn all the required PPEs, that is goggles and nose mask. That is also in hydrocarbon. We need to have the cartridge mask. The cartridge mask is the person is wearing the cartridge mask as well as the appropriate gloves and safety shoes he wore. So in order to avoid these incidents related to static charge, we need to follow these steps. Okay. Even though we are taking measures, some quantity of chemical is spilled means immediately we need to clean the chemical with the spill control kit. So readily availability of spill control kit has to be maintained in all the areas, operational areas, and it has to be maintained properly. In spill control kit, sand should be there and proper PPE should be there in spare, and absorbent materials also should be there. So these things are we need to take care of during the chemical transferring. Then main topic is now we are going to discuss about the how to first thing container. We saw the container, how the selection of container should be. Second, and what rules it says. We saw that thickness of the barrels and all. And now after usage in many of the industry, while chemical using, after the usage of chemical, the barrel is not properly taken care of. So the barrel is empty barrel, they are not taking care of, they are throw it away as such in the waste yard. So we should not do like that. Many risks involving in this empty barrel. So what are all the risks involving in that handling of empty barrel, and how to mitigate the risk handling the empty barrel, that and all we will see now. Okay. First of all, after using the chemical, after transferring the chemical, the empty barrel should be properly capped. That is tightly capped. First, you need to ensure that the chemical is fully transferred or not. That barrel has to be dried, that is fully emptied. Should not leave any residues inside the barrel. It leads to many serious problems. So first you need to ensure the barrel is completely emptied or not. Then after emptying the barrel, that barrel has to be properly tightly capped. Then only the barrel can be used, and also safe storage can be established. Then actually barrel emptied, actually in industrial practice, what they are thinking, the empty waste barrel, this empty waste barrel we can pour any other chemicals for temporary purpose. Like that they are pouring some of chemical which is compatible or incompatible chemicals. If compatible chemicals, if we are pouring temporary purpose, it is okay. If it is not incompatible, it is not compatible with each other, already present the chemical present inside the barrel, as well as if you are pouring temporarily another chemicals, if it is not compatible with each other, it will create a big problem, that is a nuisance problem that may have the spark and may give toxic fumes, and it can also sudden pressure will develop. So you need to more conscious that don't pour any other chemical for temporary storage. Also you should not, without checking compatibility study, you should not pour the other chemicals in the barrels, because most of the cases they are openly kept barrels, that is empty barrel kept openly. In these barrels over a period it will get rusted due to moisture in the atmosphere. This empty barrels get rusted. After rusting the barrel, it is not usable. It is only, it's sent to the scrap only. It is not having the capacity. It loses its capacity for storage. It is thrown to the scrap. So you should not waste these barrels as a scrap. If you are sending these barrel to the scrap means it has very less value. That recycling process also is very combustible process. So if you are using this barrel for another filling, one thing we need to do that empty the barrel first, then it has to be tightened properly. The cap has to be tightened properly and stored in roof covered shed. Direct sunlight should not fall on this empty barrel also. Okay. Pouring the waste chemical in incompatible chemical, the barrel used in toxic chemicals. The barrels comes with the toxic symbols that you see in the last picture. That barrel comes with the toxic symbol. These barrels you should not take risk. This barrel should not be reused. It has to be directly sent to the scrap only. You should not use or recycle, or you don't wash with any other chemicals. It has straight away, it has to be scrapped as per the government regulations. Then list of the topics we are planning to cover is the residual vapor hazard, and the labeling and identification and handling procedures, and the storage guidelines, and cleaning disposal. This and all we will see one by one. One, residual vapor. Even when the label is empty, the solvent barrels may contain residual vapors because we are not properly emptying the barrel. So these vapors, which is the chemicals inside the barrel create vapors. These vapors has to be properly dispersed. That is, this empty barrel storage and chemical storage area should be ventilated properly using 2 layers of ventilation. The pressure has to be entered in the bottom, and heavier air or contaminated air should be goes out from the shed at the top. So like this way, we need to give proper ventilation. Okay. So residual vapor presence should be avoided inside the barrel. Importance is the ventilation and purging off. Otherwise, if the ventilation is not good, we need to give forced ventilation. That is, using the exhaust fan, you need to give proper ventilation. Then during this emptying, the chemical handling and chemical transferring process, use appropriate PPEs. Otherwise, it will lead to some incident. Chemical spillage on faces and chemical spillage on bodies, and chemical vapors also inhalation. That is, inhalation hazard will be there. So use proper PPEs. That is, proper goggles has to be selected, and mask, that is cartridge mask, has to be selected. That has to be practiced. Then only we can escape from these hazards. Then labeling properly. Empty barrel has to be labeled properly with appropriate symbol. If it is toxic, it is not usable, means you clearly put a sticker on that barrel and keep it separately. And usable and reusable barrel, if you are mentioning clearly empty and reusable, like that label should be mandatory, and it is easy to use for next time. If you are not labeling, some doubts will come. Due to doubts, some incident will happen, that because that worker is not having all this knowledge in this mind. So usually you need to give clear instruction by sticking the label on the barrels. Recommendation for handling procedure: appropriate personal protective equipment, and how to use the personal protective equipment, how to transfer the chemicals, that and all we need to give clear instruction to the workers, those who are engaging in that job, and also giving hands-off training and handling techniques. We need to educate the worker for these techniques. Then only we can minimize the risk related to this. So, 1 minute, I will recollect the picture and show it to you. It will take 2 minutes. I will show the picture, how to transfer the chemical one barrel to another barrel. That and all I will show the picture. Normally in industries, that waste barrels are thrown like this only. It is not properly taken care of. That a barrel, empty barrel, is not having the properly, cap is not fixed properly. It is not taken care of. It is throw it just like this. So in order to avoid this, we need to cleanly and fully tighten cap barrel. It has to be stored under the shed. It is not like this open sunlight. You should not throw this barrel, as well as they are throwing the barrel beside of the trees. if any residual chemical which is come out from the barrel, that will spoil the soil as well as the environment. So we need to pay more attention while handling the waste barrels. It should be stored properly inside the shed, not in open atmosphere. So direct sunlight fall on these barrels. Inside vapor, that residual quantity will create vapor. This vapor comes out, comes out from the barrel. It will create nuisance to the atmosphere, that is environment. So we need to more careful for handling these barrels. Once these barrels accumulated this in the scrapyard, if any maintenance work like cutting and welding work is taken care of, many incidents is happened due to that, because that spark of cutting wheel spark, it is going to the scrap area. Already scrap area is with the chemical vapor fumes, it catch fire. So many risk involved in this. So you need to pay more attention for keeping and storing the empty barrels. Cleaning and disposal. If the barrels are going to reuse for filling same chemical, means no cleaning is required, completely emptying is enough. If the barrel we are going to reuse for the same chemical, then only the cleaning is not required, only emptying is enough. After emptying, the cap should be closed properly. This is one condition. Another, after emptying the solvent completely, if you are planning to fill any other chemicals, needs cleaning. While cleaning, needs to select appropriate chemicals. That is, appropriate chemical for cleaning has to be selected properly. If you are not selected appropriate chemical, instead of cleaning, that chemical itself will contaminate your barrel. So cleaning selection, that chemical selection for cleaning is very tough job. So if you are not interested to clean, you leave it and empty the barrel and save store safely. Otherwise, it will create nuisance. If you are not knowing the properties of chemical, if you are adding other contaminated chemicals or any incompatible chemical you are using for cleaning, it will create nuisance. Then during the cleaning process, if you are using solvent, will generate solvent vapor. So the solvent vapor also form a vapor clouds. Before recycling, you need to taken care of, remove the vapors present in the area. So that is ventilation. Then that electrical fittings. That one more thing we need to see, that a suitable electrical fittings has to be fixed, because that area is always full of vapors. So that vapor has to be removed. Then that electrical fittings which is used in this cleaning area, that is barrel storage area, should be flame proof. In this picture, we can easily see that these flame proof lights are available, flame proof exhaust fans are available. So we need to have the electrical fittings. If you are doing any cleaning process, you need to take care of that electrical fittings has to be FLP. If you are doing any mechanical cleaning, that selection of motor or pumps and all, you need to have FLP, that is flame proof motor only we need to select, because many of the barrel cleaning units met an accident due to improper electrical fittings, because that velocity of cleaning, that is static charge will tremendously develop once the velocity of the liquid, that is solvent, pumped high velocity 6 meters per second. If velocity beyond the 6 meters per second, it will generate static charge. So it is static charge is indirect source for fire. So if you are doing any chemical cleaning, that is barrel cleaning, mechanized barrel cleaning, that equipment should be flame proof, and also earthing of the equipment should be taken care of, proper earthing to be given to the mechanical instruments. Okay, apart from that, in this chemical cleaning area, that is barrel rinsing area, or you are planning for rinsing and all, you should avoid combustible material, and oxidizing material should be avoided to keep the oxidizing and combustible material in that area. So after cleaning, ensure that no residual quantity, and after cleaning, barrels should be covered with the cap. These barrels should be stored separately under the roofed shed. Then inspection protocol, regular inspection, as well as if your chemical is stored in the barrel as well as empty barrel. Empty barrel, there is no this. In chemical stored in the barrel, you need to regular inspection of barrels. If any leakage and all, you need to check. Empty barrels also, any corrosion, any damages has happened in the storage area, you need to inspect. if it is properly stored or not. If any damage is there, so you need to dispose the barrel as per the TNPCB guidelines. You need to dispose as a waste. If you are going to recycle, means if you are stick the label and store it separately for use, and disposal means as per the government norm, pollution control board norms, we need to follow, and authorized vendor only we need to give this barrel for recycling. And transportation. And one more thing, we need to transport, you need to select the appropriate vehicles, that is certified, that is license holder, and hazardous waste vehicle only we need to select. Not for all the vehicles should not transfer this waste and all. That is hazardous waste should be transported through the appropriate vehicle only. Then training and education, that is providing comprehensive training to the employees, handling procedure and protocol should be given, and also that emergency response method in case of any mishappening, how to escape from the area, that is emergency response procedure has to be made, and same has to be practiced. So what are all the topic we need to training to the workers as well as the employees, those who are working in this chemical handling area and chemical dispensing area. That is MSDS, material safety data sheet training we need to give. Then personal protective equipments handling and usage, this training we need to give. Then firefighting measures, how to put off the fire using extinguisher as well as fire hydrant system. This training is necessary, and emergency preparedness training also is necessary. And handling of spill control kit and spill control procedure has to be trained properly. That person has to be trained in this area. Then chemical compatibility. So because of any chemical contamination and also incompatible chemicals should not be stored together and also handled in this process. So we need to give training on chemical compatibility also. That is chemical with material which is stored. That is MOC of the container. That chemical compatibility also see. And chemical with the another chemicals, that compatibility also we need to see. Chemical with another chemical with the container. These two compatibility has to be given training on these topics. It is more safe for creating safer environment. So periodical training is necessary, and ensure that training is properly reached the audience or not. That also we need to ensure by conducting periodical test and inspection. And emergency response, this is the procedure we need to have in every company. So in case of emergency, how to overcome the crisis with the short period of time without any damage to property and human. So we need to frame the procedure accordingly. We need to give the training to all the employees who are present in the organization. Then benefits. What are all the benefits if you are storing empty barrels safely? What are the benefits? If the chemical is completely emptied and closed, if kept safely under the shed, it can be reusable by the vendors who are receiving this barrel. In order to reusing these barrels, it has the better value. You can get better price compared to scrap barrels. The barrels are segregated two ways. That is, one is sent to scrap, another one is sent for the reuse. If you are keeping the barrel like this, water contamination, without rust, if you are without any other chemical contamination, if you are storing the barrel safely, you can resell the barrel with the better price compared to scrap barrels. Then not handling that, not removing the chemical properly, it is contaminated with other chemicals or water, it is rusted barrels is not reusable, it goes to the scrap. It is scrap vendor will take lesser price only. And also in society, we are creating pollution. Why? How? In what way we are giving pollution to the society? The scrap barrels may be melted in the furnace for manufacturing use. So this furnace, we are eating process involved, and so many pollution is involved for this treatment of these scrap barrels, so that atmosphere, the carbon emission will be more, and environment will also get spoiled. So you are saving the environment. If you are storing the barrel properly and reusing, you also saving the natural, indirectly saving the natural resources, and also you are decrease the pollution. So in this way, you are benefited and our society also benefited. This is the benefits we are getting if you are properly storing the barrels. The recap of point, what are all the points we discussed? First, how many types of barrels we saw in this program. That is MS barrel, GI barrels, and HDP barrels. Based on the chemical compatibility, we are selecting the barrels and container specification. The barrel specification also clearly given in the PESO, that petroleum rules, how much thickness it should be, and who is the approval authority, that and all given clearly. Then how much is free space we need to leave inside the barrel, that also we givenly discussed, we are briefly discussed. Then how to empty the barrel, how to transfer the chemical from one container to another container, how to choose the secondary container. It should not be a plastic container for the petroleum solvent. How to give, that is how to address the static charge which is generated during the chemical transferring process. One is bonding and another one is earthing. How the bonding and earthing is given, that picture is given clear idea about that bonding and earthing. And earth pit, how to maintain the earth pit, that and all we discussed. Then how to clean the barrel. If after cleaning, how the barrels has to be stored, and what are all the risk involving in this operations, that is storing, that is transferring, and the cleaning and storing process, that we discussed. And how the training should be given to the periodically to the workers, and in what topic we need to give the training, that and all we discussed. In overall safe handling of barrels and chemicals, empty barrels and chemical transferring and barrel handling, that we discussed. And ultimate safe operation is established by following all these steps. Thank you. Any questions you can ask now.
Hello.
Tell me, sir. Tell me.
Yes, I have one question. What are the regulatory requirement to store DOK or IPA?
Sir,
what are the regulatory requirements to store DOK or IPA? Is how much we can store max?
UK means
factory. A factory.
Actually, the PESO only given the clear guideline that empty barrels should be cleaned properly and stored. That is, in petroleum rules, they are given the clear guideline for how to use and dispose the empty barrels. And that local regulation, the PESO is the central government rules and regulations is there. Apart from that, local pollution control board having some rules on disposing of these hazardous barrels, hazardous chemical, that is chemical contaminated barrels, how to clean this chemical contaminated barrel and how to dispose the barrel and all. That pollution control board given the clear guidelines. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I just wanted to know regulatory requirements for filled drums, not for empty drums.
The filled drums also. That is filled drums.
Yeah.
Petroleum rules is given clear guidelines. The filled drums has to be stored. That in that guideline you can easily see that what are all the guidelines given. They are given clearly, that is what time that operation should be and how the operation should be carried out, what are all the standards to be followed, that are all in petroleum rules.
Okay, understood. Okay, thank you.
Sir, Mr. Magendra, please ask your question. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Sir, my question is regarding reuse, sir.
Sir, tell me, sir.
Don't you accept the barrels which you have used?
Sir, your voice is very low, sir. Please little loud.
Sir, will Ponpure accept the barrels which you have used?
Voice is very low, sir. Please. Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Am I audible now? Hello.
You asked your question, sir.
Sir, will Ponpure accept the barrels which we have used?
Ponpure?
Accept the barrels which we have used?
Sir, we are not accepting the barrels, sir, because it has to be comes through the appropriate recycler. Appropriate recycler, that pollution control board is given a license to the recycler. The recyclers only will collect barrels from you and they are doing some process and they dispose it off as per the government guidelines.
Okay, sir.
Sir, one doubt is there. Can I ask?
Ask me.
Actually, if for example one can is there, so one barrel or any can is there, after using the chemical we can clean and we can keep in the store. So that we can resell or we can reuse for another chemical. So what is the time period to keep this can in the storage area? What is the time period we can keep in the storage area?
Actually, that is not as per the pollution control board. You should not store the chemical waste for more than 90 days.
19 days, 2 months, 3
90
months.
days. If you are going to store this hazardous chemical waste or chemical drums beyond 90 days, you need to get the one more special approval from the pollution control board. So reason I unable to dispose this waste material. So please extend me for some time. Like that, you need to ask the pollution control. That
So we need
maximum
to take
period,
approval.
that is within 90 days, you need to dispose it off.
If we extended more than 90 days, means we have to take approval from pollution control board.
That is pollution control board. If you are any activity, if you are doing any manufacturing process, the hazardous waste is generated from your process, that all the hazardous waste has to be get authorized for disposal from the pollution control board. Any waste is generated from your process, it has to be get permission from the pollution control board how safe disposal. So they will give the permission for you to dispose this waste periodically. Based on the quantity generated, they will give the approval that after generation 90 days is the maximum period they are given for storing within your premises. After 90 days, it should not be present in your premises. That is the pollution control board rules.
Clear, sir. And one more doubt, sir. If, for example, 90 days, for example, in after 3 months, we have to resell that can. So 10 days gap is there to send another vendor. So for that 10 days also, we have to take approval from the pollution control board.
That is based on that environment engineer in your location. You have the better relationship with the pollution control board. You can orally also get permission from them.
Yes.
But you need to inform that this is lying in your company more than 90 days. You need to inform them. Based on the suggestion, they are asking for any letter, formal letter. You need to submit the letter. Otherwise, they are permitting means okay. That is based on the pollution control board environment engineer, that is AE, assistant environment engineer decision. You please discuss with them and get decision.
Sure, sir. Clear. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Ask me, madam.
Sir, for transferring chemicals, we use pumps, and you told it should be flame proof. So what kind of pumps are safest for transferring chemicals?
Actually, in chemical transferring, mostly air operated double diaphragm pump. That is chemical transferring means many transferring is taking place in industry. That is bulk transferring. That is UG to vessel you are transferring means FLP centrifugal vertical pumps we can use for bulk transferring. UG tank to vessel. For that, small AOD pump will not help you. If you are going to transfer one barrel to another barrel or one barrel to less than a barrel quantity, you are going to pump or transfer AOD pump. That is very safe. It is only operated through the air only. Double diaphragm AOD, air operated double diaphragm pump. This pump can be used for barrel to barrel transfer or barrel to small container, small less than a barrel quantity. We can use this AOD. Bulk transfer means we need to go electrical, that is FLP, flame proof pump we need to use.
Okay, sir. And one more thing, sir. For you told there are many regulations regarding different sections. So how come we can get to know about these regulations? Is there any specific website government related to get to know about these regulations?
Madam, there is two regulations only. That is specifically I am discussing. We are discussing about petroleum product. Petroleum product mainly covered in the petroleum rules. All petroleum products, that is petroleum derivatives, that is hydrocarbon, mixture of hydrocarbon, all the petroleum derivatives that government given, that Petroleum Explosive Safety Organization framed the rules, that is petroleum rules. Already petroleum rules 1934 it is framed and amended recently also. So from the petroleum rules we can get the guidelines. What are the guidelines we need to follow during the handling and storage and transferring? All these guidelines are clearly mentioned in the governing authority is PESO, that is PESO Nagpur. They are the governing and monitoring body for these rules. And another one enforcement authority is Pollution Control Board for disposing the waste and avoiding the pollution during your operation. Pollution Control Board. They are given Air and Water Act. They are given clear guidelines. So you can go through this, and your industry falls in which category. Accordingly, you can see the this and all that norms and all, they are given clearly. If you have any doubt, Pollution Control Board will guide you how to do the operation safely and how to store these hazardous chemicals safely. They will also give guidelines. From that Air Act, Water Act, and hazardous waste authorization, these and all pollution related guidelines, you can easily get the guidelines from these rules, that rules, air rules and water rules.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. This is Nilaksh Kalyankar. I want to know, sir, we are getting kerosene oil in the tankers. Okay. And we are unloading that kerosene oil in the PVC drums. Is it safe or not?
That is any petroleum product, any petroleum derivatives, it has to be stored in the and transfer or stored in the MS barrel only. It should not be stored in the HDP barrels. It is unsafe at any point of time. It may have the risk of fire due to static charge property, because these chemicals create static charge while transferring. So the static charge itself create fire due to its nature. That is always our petroleum products always form a vapor easily with almost free care. So the flammable vapor always present nearby the vapor, nearby the barrels and where you are handling chemical area. So you need to be very conscious. You should not use STP barrels for petroleum product handling. You need to use MS barrel only. As per the guideline, they are given clearly, petroleum guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sir, hello, sir.
Tell me, sir.
To continue with this caution, if we are using sufficient thickness to store kerosene, that is okay. HDP drum I'm talking about.
Sir?
If we are using sufficient thickness drum, no, there is a class you have mentioned, ABC class. Petroleum is falling under A class, right?
Yes. The kerosene is B class only, sir.
B class. So we can use 1.25 mm HDP drum. We cannot use 1.25 mm HDP drum.
In that rules itself, clearly mentioned that is MS specification only, MS sheet specification, not for HDP thickness. That is MS sheet thickness only. That is galvanized tin. They are given clearly. That is MS only.
Okay. It is a MS. Thickness is mentioned for MS.
Not for the HDP. They are not suggesting HDP for this because of this peculiar property. All the petrochemicals have some impact on the STP barrels. This petroleum product have some impact over a period of storage. Some erosion and corrosion will be happen in the plastic or HDP drums. Moreover, apart from that, there is a plastic and HDP containers are non-conductive in nature. What will happen? Static charge is nothing but temporary charge separation. The charge which generate during the filling and transferring and shaking of the barrel, the charge will develop. This developed charge should not remain on the surface of the liquid. It has to be grounded properly. So metal barrel only ground this charge properly. All plastic and STP drums, they are not conducting these charges. So the charge will remain in the area, surface area only. So it will create problem. It can have the chances to get fire.
Okay, understood, sir. One more question, sir. Whether IPA, isopropyl alcohol, is falling under hazardous category or non-hazardous category?
Actually, isopropyl alcohol falls under hazardous category only. It is a alcoholic mixture. It is alcohol. It has the petroleum product, but it is not falls under the petroleum rules. Petroleum rules has given some guidelines, that is hydrocarbon or mixture of hydrocarbon. This is false. This is an alkali group. So it is not falls under petroleum product, but it has equally having the flammable property. It is
Okay.
a hazardous chemical only. There is no doubt in it. It has equally having the flammable property, but it is not falling under petroleum rules.
Okay.
But we need to give same precaution, same alertness we need to have for the isopropyl alcohol. Only thing, it is not directly covered under the petroleum rules. That's all. As per the petroleum definition, it is not covered under the petroleum rules. But we need to give same safety precaution for as chemical precaution we are following. Same precaution we need to follow the IP also.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir. Santosh here.
Ask me, sir.
Sir, actually, we are buying the Exxon D80 from Pontview.
Yes, sir.
So, though it is a hydrocarbon and falls under category C, they are supplying in HDPE barrel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Actually, that STP barrels in the based on the we are chosen the STP barrel based on the this only, that is a flash point only, that chemicals which is falls in the C category, that above 65 to 93 degrees centigrade. So these high flash point will not happen in a normal atmosphere. So for that purpose only we are planning to give in HDP barrels. We are studying all the parameters. One thing, static charge. A secondary thing, when for this explanation, I need to go for the LEL and HCl. That is lower explosive limit, higher explosive limit, and flammable range and the flash point. These are all we have studied these components. That flash points plays major role. So normally in atmosphere, the flash point is very close to the atmospheric temperature. It is highly risky. If that C class material, if it is more than a 65 degree flash point, means it is risk is very, very low. So that we are planning to give D80 in STP barrels.
Okay.
Any more questions, sir?
Sir, Miraj here.
Ask me, sir. Ask me.
Sir, is any guideline given in the PESO rule like the nitrogen purging or nitrogen innertization in the petroleum product handling or filling in the?
Sir, a little bit loud, sir. I couldn't hear you clearly, sir.
What,
Hello.
sir? Yeah.
Little bit
audible?
loudly. Now audible, sir. Now audible.
Sir, is any guideline given in the PESO rule for petroleum product filling or in the petroleum product unloading in drum, like nitrogen purging or nitrogen innertization during the drum filling?
They are giving the guidelines related to static charge and all. They are given the guidelines, but nitrogen filling is additional features. If you require, we can have the nitrogen purging and all. That is not necessary. Based on the industry requirement, based on the necessity, risk assessment, you did do your risk assessment in your production area. As per that, you can plan for the nitrogen packaging. But petroleum rules not suggesting that you need to have the nitrogen packaging system.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Based on the company requirement, you can go for that. That is also very good. Nitrogen blanketing is the mainly nitrogen blanketing is used in open storage tanks, high volume tanks, high quantity, high volume storage tanks that is kept in the open atmosphere, above ground tanks. We are planning for the nitrogen blanketing in order to avoid evaporation loss. In some industry also, they are having the above ground tank that is exposed to open atmosphere, that is direct sunlight, means they are going for the nitrogen blanketing in order to avoid solvent loss, that is operational loss and storage loss, for that nitrogen blanketing. Otherwise, in operational area, in reactor or mixing vessel, you are processing the solvent Due to the solvent, some explosion also will happen. That is, flammable mixture will form. So, in order to carry out the exothermic reaction, for this process, for safety purpose, they are doing these exothermic reactions in the nitrogen atmosphere. So, in the nitrogen atmosphere, oxygen is nullified. Presence of oxygen in that area is nullified, so that it is very safe to carry out this operation. By this, we can establish safety, so that depends on the company requirement, you can add, no problem. Nitrogen blackout is.
Yeah, right, sir, right.
So we'll be
Any more
ending the
questions?
Q&A session soon. Any questions?
Sir, can you share this PPT to us?
Okay, I will share you through our site. We will share you. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with our customers at this empty drum safety webinar event. We genuinely appreciate your interest and participation in our webinar. Your presence undoubtedly contributed to the success of the event. And I would like to thank all our customers for their support and patience in attending this webinar. And I hope everyone utilizes this opportunity for knowledge enhancement. Thank to all. We're ending the session. Thank you.
Madam, if they are willing to ask any questions through the mail also, we are appreciated. I will answer the questions after. Huh?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.